Namaskaram, everybody. Welcome. Let's begin this class with Dhyanam. Om Bijapuragadekshakarmakurajapchakrabjapashotphala Vryagrasvapishanratnakalashaif Prodhyatkaram Dheyo Vallabhyasa Padmakaraya Ashlishtojvaladbhushaya Vishwotpatti Vipatti Samsatikaro Vignesha Ishtardhadha Shri Gurutrayam Ganapatim Pitatrayam Bhairavam Siddhaugam Vatukatrayam Padayugam Dhuti Kramam Mandalam Veerandhyashtachatushkashashtinavakam Veeravali Panchakam Shrimanmalini Mantrarajasahitam Vande Gurur Mandalam Madharme Madhukaita Bhagni Mahishaf Pranapaharodhyame Hela Nirmita Dhumra Lochanavadhe He Chandamundardhini Nisheshi Kritarakta Bijadanuje Nitye Nishumbhapahe Shumbhadvansini Samhara Suduritan Durge Namastembike Sarvam Shri Chandi Mahalakshmi Shri Padukam Pujayami Tarpayami Namaha Sadgurum Shri Padukam Pujayami Tarpayami Namaha. Welcome to this new session of classes that is titled as Śrī Durgā Vijayam. These classes are going to give you deeper insights on Devī Bhāgavatam, which is going to directly correlate with a lot of questions, a lot of thoughts about religion, spirituality, and your own lived experiences of your practical life. And I'm sure this is going to be a lot of fun and also a lot of thoughts and a lot of questions further, actually. Before I begin today's class, I would like to tell you two things. One, definitely I'm using the descriptions and the incidents that is coming from the Śrīmad Devī Bhāgavatam text, the Moolam as it is given. I'm also using commentaries of various personalities, particularly the very well-known commentary of Swami Vijnanananda is what I'm referring to here, and then others who have written very extensively, and also my own conceptual knowledge that I have built over the years of whatever I have read, assimilated, and digested, I'm going to share. And also another important thing for the students, those who are coming from the previous semesters, this is time that you dust and take out the Bhagavatam textbooks that you have brought for yourself and never open to study them actually. Correct? Unless and until you are not going to read, these classes might sound a bit irrelevant actually, because in Bhagavatam, there is stories within stories are there actually. So unless and until you are not going to read, it might not make any sense. For example, I will start talking now immediately about three important individuals. One is Sūta Maharishi, one is Bhagavan Vyasa or Vyasa Maharishi, and then King Janamejaya. No, Raja Janamejaya. Now the question will come, who are they? From where they came? I cannot talk about, because if I'm talk about that, the session will be on that. You understand what I'm trying to say? So there is some kind of a prior knowledge is required actually. Or maybe if Devi's grace is there, we might look into them as we go in detail actually. Because these are not one or two mantras or shlokas. There are 18,000 verses in Devi Bhagavatam actually. 18,000 verses, and these 18,000 verses actually have an interpretation which runs for almost like, the interpretations or the explanations itself runs for more than like 5-6 lakhs of interpretative languages there actually. So to compile everything and bring it together, definitely we can do that. But we need that kind of commitment and lifetime of going with these classes. So I hope Devi will give us that kind of space. But moving forward, what I'm simply asking is that you were asked to buy books actually, and those who are willing and moving forward to study, you were also requested or rather instructed to buy books. So please invest some good in buying books, actually. You have a lot of good interpretations of Śrīmad Devī Bhāgavatam, the stories of Śrīmad Devī Bhāgavatam. I'm not talking about the Moolam. Moolam means the Sanskrit or the Sanskrit verses, in various preferred languages. I'm talking about the stories, actually. Inculcate the habit of reading, which is very important, actually. If you wanted to do sadhana, reading is something very important. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam is something very important. What is Shravanam, what is Mananam, and what is Nididhyasanam? You will be understanding eventually from the classes. Now let's get into the class. Today is a very interesting class, I guess, because most of us have this doubt. Where did Devi actually come from? आखिर ये भगवान कहाँ से आए यार, कोई बता तो सही, करेक्ट? लोग पूछते भी है ना हमें, ये भगवान कहाँ से आए हैं एक्चुअली। और ये एक ही भगवान है कि मतलब इतने सारे अनेक भगवान है? तो सारे भगवान एक ही है क्या? नहीं तो ये बड़ा है कि ये छोटा है? यस और नो? मैं किस भगवान के पास जाऊं? मैं गणेश जी के पास जाऊं? मैं शिव जी के पास जाऊं? आई रिमेंबर वन ऑफ माय स्टूडेंट ललिता आस्किंग दिस एक्चुअली, ऑल these questions of doubts actually, शिव जी है, देवी है, so there's a kind of a dichotomy, where should I land up actually, or maybe both should be treated equally, all these questions and confusions. And trust me, these are not only with you people, actually. This has been there generations and generations, actually. And this generations of doubt, which is there, might be I'm going to answer to those few hundreds who are listening now, actually. So this conversation is happening between two individuals. One is Vyasa Maharishi and Janamejaya, actually. And Janamejaya, king, is the one who's asking this question to Vyasa. And this is actually reported to us by whom? Sūta Maharishi. Sūta is the son of Vyasa. So Sūta is explaining to us, actually. So it seems Janamejaya asked this very important question, because in the previous context, it seems that Vyasa Maharishi has asked Janamejaya to actually worship Devi. So now the context has come in where Janamejaya is asking Vyasa, who is this Devi? Who is this Amba you have asked me to worship? Where she was born? Who was her father and mother? Because if she's born, she should have a father and mother, and you should tell me about her in detail. Just see the question, how it is coming in. You should know how to ask the question. You should tell me in detail, actually. I thought, further Janamejaya is interpreting it, I thought that Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are the gods, because as we understand, they are the ones who create, they are the ones who protect, and they are the ones who annihilate, actually. Beyond these three, is there someone is there? Because there is somebody is there. That's the reason you're asking me to worship. Who is that? You have to tell me. And of course, as the existential question has come in, the existential, crisis of understanding Bhagavan kaun hai yahan. So that question is going to be answered by Vyasa. It seems that Vyasa has started narrating this incident, actually. Vyasa was once walking in the banks of river Ganga and wanted to sit in a very secluded place to perform his Nitya Puja. There, he encountered another important personality, Narada Maharishi. And Narada Maharishi was sitting silently at the banks of Ganga and doing his Anushtanam. He was doing his Japam. And looking at Narada, Vyasa remembered this very important question, it seems. Just imagine, Vyasa himself had this doubt. Today, I saw Maharishi. I should ask this question finally to him. Who is that actual Bhagavan, actually? Who is this Bhagavan? I should ask Maharishi himself, actually. So he was waiting patiently for Narada Maharishi to finish his prayers, because it is said in the Shastras, the one who is involved in prayers, we should not go and disturb them, actually. We should wait them to finish their prayers, and then so that we can talk to them, actually. So Vyasa was actually waiting patiently for Narada to finish the prayers. Once Narada finished the prayers and opened his eyes, of course, with all the greetings that needs to be given to the Guru, because Narada is actually a celestial rishi, actually. He can, Trikala Sanchara Mahamuni, he's called as actually. He can go to any of the planets, including Vaikunta, when he feels like, actually. He can drop into any of these planets, actually. So for that deep respects, the reverences, Vyasa offered his namaskaram to Narada and asked this question, the same question in the same pattern. Narada Maharishi, this is something very important. Now that I found you finally, I wanted to know who is Bhagavan? You know, where is that Bhagavan? Who is that superior among all the Bhagavans? We know so many Bhagavans here. Who is that superior Bhagavan? Now, looking at this question and hearing this question, Narada himself said that, Vyasa, you have asked me the right question, and I had the same doubt to myself that who is the Bhagavan actually? Because people all think that I am at the back of always saying Narayana, Narayana. So people assume that I actually think that Bhagavan Vishnu is the superior. But I had this originally doubt in my own self that who is that actual Bhagavan actually? So what happened? The same doubt what you had, I had a while ago, and I went to whom? I went to Pitamaha, my father. And who is the father? Brahma. So Narada Maharishi has taken the pastime to the story to Brahma. So Brahma is approached now. So this is now the incident within the incident that has been narrated to Vyasa actually. So it seems that Narada Maharishi has went to Brahma Lokam. Brahma, the creator, the Srishtikarta, and also the father of Narada Maharishi, actually. And Brahma is asked this question actually. This entire Brahmandam actually has a many different aspects. You look into the question again, like the construction of the question. This has many different aspects. This has many different lokas. This has many different departments, including the three different departments that is handled by you, that is handled by Vishnuji, and that is handled by Shivji. So if is this is what is all about, are you three the supreme here? Or is there anyone who is supreme among you all? Or if there is somebody else who is the supreme, can you explain to me? This question was directly put in front of Brahma, because there's a deeper understanding that Bhagavatam is telling, because it is when Brahma created, we understand that the Brahma, along with the Brahma Lokam, we had the other, apart from the Brahma, Vishnu, Sadashiva, the Trinity, we had these other devatas who were Varuna, Agni, Indra, Soma, Yama, Kubera, and they all even had their bhaktas, even now that they have their bhaktas, if you know actually. So there was, there was these important gods and the next levels of gods, and then these gods had their own devotees. So who is actually, then if, and they are all classified under different spaces, this particular devata will be coming under Vishnu, they will be coming under Brahma, they will be coming under Shiva, like that kind of a classification, the system was all into place actually. So when this was asked, then Brahma will say, son, this is the right question you have asked me, and this is the right time that I'm going to narrate to you the story, or rather my experience of who is that actually the supreme. And Brahma starts answering the question. It seems Brahma immediately says, this is something very important lesson which Brahmadev is actually telling to all of us. Brahma is saying, whatever I'm going to say now, it will be understood only by those, this mystery will be understood by only those who are who wanted to be unattached to this material world. The more and more they are going to develop unattachment, for this material world, the more and more the understanding will evolve to them actually. Okay, the more and more understanding would evolve to them, because when we spoke about the gods and their systems that is prevalent within this trinity, and then the other, other different departments headed by various other gods, who is the actual god? This one debate is there. And further, when and further there is also debate that is it really possible for these gods to create, one single god or multiple gods to create this kind of a system? Or there was this common thing that is called as the nature is the god actually, which is the concept that comes from from the Sankyas, as developed by Kapila Muni actually. Is it all about nature? You know, is it nature that is what is prevalent? The nature existed and the nature is what is to be understood, or is there really like multiple gods? See, you look into the depth of the question, the analysis that is going. So they've spoken about the trinities, they've spoken about all the devatas, they have even spoken to the levels of Sankhya, the Sankhya philosophy. So everything is analyzed to understand, because when you want to negate something or when you want to accept something, you need to rule out all the causes actually. This is something which we have to learn. We cannot have a biased idea or an opinion on something. That is what is the major mistake we all land up doing actually. We don't want to open up to all the perspectives actually, but the scriptures are not like this. It opens up to all the perspectives. It shows the light completely, and it gives us the opportunity to choose it actually, choose the path in where we want to actually evolve. So this is the entire question that was compiled, that was put into place by Narada, and Brahma also added to this. And now Brahma is going to actually discuss this, because the way Narada had put it also very beautiful for Brahma to speak on this, because Narada himself is saying, after knowing a lot, after studying a lot, after traveling a lot, traveling means where? To Vaikuntham, still there is confusion within me. And this is a confusion that is keeping me between the darkness and light actually. This darkness, the way the darkness and light is existing in this entire cosmos, this question is also there in my mind actually. And this question is how it is actually, this question is coming to me. Just imagine the interpretation. This question is coming to me how pleasure and pain come and go actually. There is no answer to it. Is going on coming, and it keeps coming and it keeps going actually. And I feel like I am getting drowned in this question to understand what is that supremacy that is there in this entire prapancham actually, or what is that mystery in this prapancham that I wanted to understand. And of course, this when coming back to this, when Narada was saying this is the way I asked to my father, Vyasa himself looked in such a doubtful manner. It seems that whether Narada will be able to actually tell the real picture, because Narada is not knowing it, because Narada is also not having the complete picture of it. But of course, even that doubt arises because Narada is in the status of the Guru. That faith was placed upon him by Vyasa. This is the lesson we have to take it actually. We might think that we might be intelligent about the Guru actually who's teaching us, for various reasons. But if that thought has creeped in so much in us, then that moment our learning will stop, our sadhana will stop actually. The moment we have accepted the individual to the level of being a teacher, we have to place our trust on them. This is not just for the spiritual learning, for anything actually, you have to understand, because that trust in itself will take us to the right dimension. Forget about that, whether that person will be able to deliver that justice, but your trust, that trust will deliver you actually in anything. If your trust is pure in any aspect of the relationship, this is not just between a guru and a disciple. If you are truthful, you have that right trust, then that justice will be given to you actually, not by maybe by that person, or maybe that the bigger cause behind there actually. And Vyasa knows the truth. See, this is the dichotomy. Vyasa used his intelligence, but immediately he came over his intelligence actually, which is very important actually. Yeah, Vyasa immediately came beyond that intelligence and actually explain and came to the senses by actually talking about, the talking about, or rather understanding the mystical realities in place. One second, please. Okay, there were some technical disturbances. So this Brahma, so Vyasa has placed his complete trust on Narada, and Narada is explaining what his father actually told him actually. It seems that Brahma is experiencing, now you have to put in a lot of imagination to experience this. Long, long ago, so long ago, Brahma is explaining actually. Brahmaji just opened his eyes, it seems, just opened his eyes. And he saw nothing but a vast ocean around him, actually, a vast water body, actually. Vast water body, nothing is there. No sun, no moon, no clouds, no mountains, nothing, no vegetation, no animals, nothing but except for that vast ocean. And this ocean in our Shastram, it is described as Ekarnava. 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 And what is this Ekarnava? After the Pralayam, that is after the dissolution of one yuga, everything is surrounded by water. After the Pralayam, after the devastation, if I have to say, after one yuga comes to an end, actually, there's only pralayam actually. Pralayam means it is surrounded by water. You just imagine as a gigantic tsunami coming and closing entire space, the land space, and everything is getting into the water actually. That is what is called as a pralayam actually. So everything is finished actually. So this technical space within the Shākta Shri Vidya understanding is what I have already spoken about it. I'm opening the chat box. I want the answer. What is this activity that Devi is doing at this point? Ekarnavam. After in Ekarnava, what is the activity which Devi is doing? The chat box is open for you to answer. Excellent. Where is Anugraham? She is going to do Anugraham now. She has not done Anugraham. Excellent. She is doing Tirodhana. Okay, I just deviated a bit to make you all to understand what is that you have got it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So that is the space now. Nothing is there except for the vast ocean. And Brahma, he just opened his eyes and saw only water. And Brahma thought, oh, I am the only one who is here. So it means that I am the one who is supreme here. Because I can't see anything. I am the one who is supreme. But the moment Brahma thought to himself that he is supreme, two things happened to Brahma. Two things happened to Brahmadev. One, fear, and the other, loneliness. The fear and loneliness. The moment Brahmadev encountered these two feelings of him, he realized and he felt humbled that I am not the supreme here, actually. I am not the supreme. Correct? This is all what we also undergo, right? See how it is deeply connecting to us. Two important qualities, actually. Even Brahma is not spared. Forget about us, actually. Two important qualities. What was it? Fear and loneliness, actually. There, Brahma was truly alone. But here for us, unfortunately, we have a lot of family, friends, relationships, society, and everything, but still we are alone, actually. Yes or no? We are made to feel alone, and we also feel alone, actually. So the moment these two thoughts came in, Brahma felt, no, boss, I am not supreme. There is something else is there. Let me wait for that, But with that deep fear, started doing what? Brahma involved prayers. The third thing, Brahma involved in prayers. There was this asariri, we call asariri in Sanskritam and also in Tamil, it is asariri. Asariri means he heard a voice that came out from the cosmos, actually, and that was a beautiful voice. And that voice instructed Brahma, tapasya is your way. Tapasya is your way. So Brahma, listening to that divine voice, involved in tapas. And Brahma performed tapas for Sahasra Varshani. For 1,000 years, Brahma performed tapas. All Brahma could see was only one thing, students, at this point of time. He could see the ocean and he could see the seat in which he was sitting, which was a lotus actually. So these were the two things that was visible to him. The immediate asanam, that is the lotus, and the vast space that he can see around him is the lotus act, the water, the vast waters covered him. So he performed 1,000 years of tapas. And after performing 1,000 years of tapas, now that voice which actually told him to do tapas again spoke to him, saying one word, just one word. Guess what is that word? Shrishtikaranaha. Create. You create. The moment Brahma heard this, the divine order, the voice that came in, automatically that power vested upon him actually. And the first thing, that because Brahma was deeply subdued in fear. Remember, Brahma, see, this is the reason emotions play a very important role in our sadhana. You have to understand this. This is the interpretation that is coming in. Because originally, what was the feelings? Loneliness and fear. Correct? That was subdued by, of course, Brahma create power that was vested upon Brahma to create, that power that was vested. Even before Brahma could actually think to process it, the creation came into existence actually. The creation came into existence. Trees, flower, fruits, and all these nice things. No. You know what came into existence? Two important individuals from where the entire Devi Mahatmyam starts actually. Two great individuals, Madhu and Kaitaba. Where did these people came into actually, Brahma was vested with power, and the moment that vestedness of the power came in, these two individuals came to existence. And as I told you, how did these two individuals about the fear and loneliness? And these emotions, were so much subdued that they came into existence from the Shrishtikarta, that is Brahma, as Madhu and Kaitaba. And this Madhu and Kaitaba came in, and Brahma could see Madhu, two individuals he saw, this Madhu and Kaitaba. Now Brahma is wondering, he couldn't even decipher the, where did they came from, because he was just ordered to create, and the moment he was ordered to create, these two individuals have come out actually. Now Brahma, like the way we do, right, actually, like you are in deep sleep, and and you wanted to, and you have something under your cot, okay, and what you do, you go down to see, correct na? You go down to see. So that is the first time Brahma is seeing below the lotus actually. what is there? Something else is there, like because he saw these two individuals. Is there something else there? Then Brahma is seeing like this, like as we say in Hindi, jaan ke dekhna, like he's seeing, he saw that the lotus in which he is sitting, actually it is connected with the stem, and that stem is going and connecting with another individual who is sleeping on a huge bed of serpent, which has five different heads. And that beautiful man, wearing yellow color costume and having four hands with shank and chakra and lotus and gada in his hands, and is in deep sleep actually. Even in his sleep, he was one of the most handsome man that the entire creation could witness actually. And Brahma realized, oh my God, there was somebody who was sleeping for such a long time. I just realized it now. And Brahma realized that this lotus was connecting to the nabi or the navel of this particular individual. So Brahma realized that he is the one who actually created me, because I came from this person actually. So he is the one who is actually the Srishtikarta of me actually. Though I am assigned to do the Srishti, but I have realized he is the one who is done the Srishti of me. If that is the case, now the question has come to Brahma, then what is that voice that I have heard actually? Who is that voice actually? But before Brahma could process that, what has happened? These two individuals has come to understand, because they are seeing this one person is going on sleeping. They thought that they can't, there's nothing to do with him. So Brahma is the only one who is now awake. So they thought that Brahma is the one who is in charge here. So what they did, they went and stood in front of Brahma, Madhu and Kaitaba, and saying, I feel that you are the one who is the in charge here, but you are no more the in charge. Either you fight or become my slave and give your position to me actually. Just imagine. Now Brahma is in such a deep of problem actually. So Brahma is seeing that there is one person who is sleeping below him, and these two are actually wanted to stand and fight against me. So what to do now actually? By the time this thought was that came in, now this Madhu and Kaitaba, the Brahma realized that due to the subdued emotions that were there within me for such a long time, and the moment I was invested with the divine powers to create, that first thing that came out was Madhu and Kaitaba. From where? From the sleeping individual who's on this Adisesha sleeping for such a long time, and that ear wax that came out, from there, these two existed. From the two ear wax, from each of the ears came into existence this Madhu and Kaitaba actually. But before even Brahma could feel bad, or before even Brahma could rectify this, nothing could be done, because these two asuras are actually standing to fight and kill Brahma. And now Brahma had, no idea of what to do actually, but again to invoke that Shakti who has shown the path to him. And Brahma was sincerely praying Shakti, and that Shakti, what is us? That Shakti will show that, in other words, Mahavishnu comes out of Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra Jagatpate. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Nidra Rupena Samstita. Here, the only difference is that Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Yoga Nidra Samastita actually. Because Mahavishnu is performing Yoga Nidra actually. It's not a normal Nidra, but it is Yoga Nidra. So, to protect Brahma. So it was because it was it was releasing Vishnu from the sleep, at the same time investing power in Vishnu. There are two things that is happening. Please understand, by this power that is actually protecting Brahma. Okay, so and this fight is the is continuing for not 1 or 2 days, it seems. It's continuing for 5,000 years, it seems, actually. 5,000 years. Mahavishnu is fighting Madhu and Kaitaba for 5,000 years, and they are like just not this, they are just not tired, but Mahavishnu is getting tired, it seems. And ultimately, with the powers of Devi, Mahavishnu finally puts an end to them. That again, there is a story there actually. So we cannot get into the details there. We will look into how Devi will help Mahavishnu and everything. That's a very different set of story. Either you need to read or otherwise you have to wait for me to narrate it actually. So that's the reason I'm asking you to read actually. So Mahavishnu is fighting, and ultimately the battle is coming to an end. But before here, there is another story that is coming in. A favorite of most of you. This third individual who is very powerful is also coming into existence during that fight itself, who was called to be Rudra actually. So Rudra is also coming into existence. So now you have Brahma, you have Vishnu, and the third individual, or the third aspect who's to be done with Thirodhanam, actually. Shrishti Sthiti Samharam, in other words, the Samharam, the Sarakarta, that is that fight and everything comes to an ultimate end. And now they are realizing, okay, now these demons have come to an end. So are we the three who are considered to be the creator, the preserver, and the annihilator? Are we the ones who are actually the rulers of this place, actually? So they are asking these questions to themselves because they already have an idea that they have done this, because it is the Ekarnava. They are in the Ekarnava stage, right? So, but they have their idea that they have already done the previous work in the previous yuga that they were there actually. But now they are murmuring to each other, it seems actually. Fine, we are the ones who are supposed to create, or rather we created. But here there is only water. Everywhere water is there. Without the 5 elements, how will we create actually? 5 elements are needed to create, right? Without the Panchabhutas, what will I create? They are asking to themselves, it seems actually. How to do this? Because there is nothing is there. There is no earth, there is no fire, there is no water, there is no air, there is nothing is there except for this endless sea actually. So, see, there is a difference. Water is different from the sea. They are very clearly differentiating actually. Ekarnava is very different from that water that we are thinking here. So they are having this clear thought. There is nothing for me to create. Brahma is thinking. There is nothing for me to preserve. Vishnu is thinking. There is nothing for me to annihilate. Rudra is thinking. So what needs to be done? They are in utter confusion. And at that point of time, what happens? There's the Supreme who was actually witnessing all these things, is from smiling from a very different place. I'm not going to let you all know. Maybe you all know it, but still I'm not letting you all know now actually. So the Supreme is seeing and smiling, and thought, okay, now it's time that we have to tell them what is happening around. So the Supreme is sending a Vimana actually, a Vimana that came from another locum actually, to the Ekarnava, where they are there, where the three trinities are there actually. A Vimanam is coming. And of course, Brahma is now saying actually, what? Okay, I know who has sent this. There is one Supreme is there actually, I don't know who is it. But that's the Supreme who has actually helped me with all these things. That's the Supreme which helped me to identify with Vishnu, and that Supreme is Rudra is also saying, yes, that Supreme only had sent me to this place actually, and I've come here, and we are all now three of us together actually. So now there is no more loneliness. There is some kind of happiness because they found their, own co-mates coming in, friends getting together, and there is some kind of happiness coming together. So now what is they have seen that there's this Vimana that has come down, and the Vimana is opening up automatically, and it is asking them to come inside. And they get inside the Vimanam actually. And it seems that within micro milliseconds, they themselves, the trinities, they felt, it seems, that they will just fly away from that Vimanam. That kind of a speed that was traveling, it seems that Vimana was traveling in that speed, that jet speed, what we call actually they were losing their own bodies, and they were becoming vapors, it seems. That kind of a speed it was traveling, and it landed up where? It landed up in a space called as Bhumi. It landed up in a space called as Bhumi. And now they are all surprised, it seems. Where does this Bhumi came into existence? They are seeing that rivers are flowing, there is forest, there is mountains, there are men, there are women, there are birds, there are beasts, and every living creature and everything is so beautiful. They're like so surprised actually. Where did this came from actually? You know? And before even they could find an answer to themselves, again the Vimanam came in front of them and asked them to get inside, it seems. All the three got into the Vimanam again, and that Vimanam took them where? And the Vimana took them to the Devaloka of that Bhumi. Make a note, Devaloka of that Bhumi. And there, the Trinities, they experienced what? They saw Indra, they saw the entire Amravati. Amravati is nothing but the city of Indra. They saw the entire Indra Sabha, all the devatas that were there actually. And they also saw the Gandharvas, the Kimpurushas, the Kinnaras, the Yakshas. Everybody was there in that lokam in different spaces in that city actually. So they were all thinking like, where did this came? Because we were in Ekarnava. Ekarnava means everything has come to an end, and we are the ones who are supposed to create there actually. We are the ones who are given the powers to create actually. We have these three different important departments. So what is this happening? But before even again they could process the answer, the Vimanam has come in and they get into the Vimanam. And there, the three trinities are witnessing, Brahma himself. All the Vedas were there, the Upanga Vedas were there, the Anga Upanga Devatas of the Vedas were there, and everything that was there supposed to be of the Brahma Lokam was very spick and span, and Brahma was doing all his Srishti Palanam, it seems. It seems like just like that happens between friends, like Vishnu is scratching Brahma's shoulder and asking, is this Pitamaha you that I am seeing or somebody else it is there actually? I don't know what am I actually seeing, what am I seeing? Are you seeing the same thing, मैं जो देख रहा हूँ तुम भी वही देख रहे हो क्या? They were all like they three are surprised, it seems to. Where is, like, I thought I am the Brahma. There is another Brahma sitting here and in a Brahma Loka actually. So again, before even they could digest this, the Pushpaka Vimana is coming, and the Pushpaka Vimana has taken them where? Within a wink, they went to Kailasa. They saw the splendor of the Himalayas, the Manasarovar, the Kailasa Parvat, and Shiva sitting there and performing Ananda Thandavam, surrounded by Nandikeshwara and the other Ghana Devatas, and seeing very happily the young Ganapati and also the six-faced Skanda. This has become so shocked to Rudra actually. My world got plunged into Ekarnava, and I am the only one who was there. How did this come into existence actually? And I could see everything there, including me being there actually. How did this all happening actually? Now they said this is like some kind of, some kind of a boomerang that is taking place. But I know that before the answer, we will think about the answer. The Pushpaka Vimanam will come. Let us get into there. So the Pushpaka Vimanam has come in. So they got into the Pushpaka Vimanam. And of course, the Pushpaka Vimanam took them to Vaikuntham actually. Vaikuntham, this the entire the ocean of milk, the Aishwaryam of Vaikuntham, full of gold, the city of gold. It is called to be the city of gold. And Lakshmi is nicely bedecked, and present there. And Vishnu is lying on that Adisesha, and the entire Vaikuntha Sabha, all the administration of Mahavishnu in terms of the Paripalanam of the entire Srishti that is taking place and everything, and they are like standing and wondering, what is that I am seeing here, and I have no idea about what is happening around, and I need an answer for all these things. And by the time they come to this conclusion, the Vimana comes again, and the Vimanam takes them beyond these three lokam. There is a highest lokam is there, and they are traveling to that lokam. And what is that lokam? that lokam is called to be Manidvipam. And their first time, the moment they got into Manidvipam, they have never even heard actually in their lifetimes. They never even know. And when they went into Manidvipam, it was a beautiful forest, it seems. And that forest had trees of these following vrikshas: the Mandara, the Parijata, the Ashoka, the Bagula, the Ketaki, Champaka, and the Kuravaka. So these are the flowers which we actually use for Devi. And in our planet, they are all just creepers or plants. But in Devi's lokam, that is in Manidvipam, they are all trees, it seems, gigantic trees actually. Gigantic, beautiful trees with so much flowers and so much of fruits actually. These are the primary trees, it seems. So that was identified, and it is given in the Bhagavatam actually. And they can see that, it's the crystal Vimanam opened, because that is the entrance. They have just reached the entrance, and this is filled with trees. You can imagine, whatever I'm saying, you can imagine both the sides, all these trees are covered, and they are seeing that where they have come in actually. And the Pushpaka Vimanam opened, and they are redirected to walk in that pavilion, in that surrounded by the forest, that Vanam actually. They felt this is a very small place, perhaps, like maybe they have come to a different place, as small as compared to the other lokams, including the Bhumi, and their own lokams, the Brahma lokam, the Vishnu lokam, and the Shiva loka. They felt maybe this is a smaller place they have come into for some reason's sake. But the moment they walked in, it opened to be a gigantic palace, a gigantic lokam within the lokam, which is the thrice or the 5 times bigger than a Vaikuntham, it seems actually. A Vaikuntham, Shivalokam, Brahmalokam, Bhumi, Devalokam, everything can be there, it seems. Not once, but 3 to 5 times it can be there, it seems. Such a vast city they enter with full of Aishwaryam. Full of Aishwaryam. And there they saw their vision, it took them towards that Sabha, and there they saw a chair actually, a Ratna Simhasanam, which is called to be the Shivakara, the Shivkara. They saw that throne actually, that Ratna Simhasanam is called to be the Shivkara. And that Simhasanam had 4 legs. And you know what they witnessed? Who were the 4 that were there in that leg? The 3 in the 4-legged Simhasanam. One was Brahma, one was Vishnu, and one was Shiva. And the 4th leg was Dharma. There were 4 legs to the Simhasanam, and Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and the 4th leg was Dharma. And amidst, now you will connect this with the dhyana of the Lalita Sahasranama, amidst a rainbow of colors, a flash of colors, full of gemstones, full of Aishwaryam bedecked, the beauty, the incredible radiance, that actually relinquined upon that couch, bright as a streak of lightning, and a dark body which was in deepest of the deep red color, anointed with sindhura and chandana, a crimson garment, wood and the scar and the garland of all those flowers which they saw when they actually are tied together. Beauty, even that is reddish as well, and enchanting. She welcomed with a smile, and very far away, all you can see her actually. mesmerized in they are declaring his. Sorry, internet issues I had, and see, like you're getting deeply into the world of Devi, and there's some kind of, some tremors are coming in, but we are still going to enter it actually. So I don't know until where you listened to me, like she was from the far they could see that splendid beauty, and they were completely. Are you all with me? Are you all with me? Yes. So they could all see that beauty coming out, from afar, and they are mesmerized in that beauty completely. And looking into that beauty and immersed into that beauty, Vishnu started whispering, it seems, to both of his friends and colleagues, you know who she is? She is only Bhuvaneshwari, the first Nama that comes in Bhagavatam, actually. She is Bhuvaneshwari, actually. And who is this Bhuvaneshwari? You don't immediately put her within the domain of Mahavidya students. Please understand. This Bhuvaneshwari is what? That entire thing that they witnessed is Bhuvana Ishwari that has come to a form. Therefore, Mahavishnu has told her she is Bhuvaneshwari. They don't know her name even now. Mahavishnu has declared she is, because she is Bhuvanam iti Ishwari. This entire world is hers, or this entire world is coming into a form like her, and she is the one who is controlling it. Therefore, she is Bhuvaneshwari. You understand? So Mahavishnu has declared that she is the Bhuvaneshwari. And the moment Mahavishnu is declaring that she is Bhuvaneshwari, Devi is smiling, it seems, actually. Listening to the conversation that he's having with with Rudra and Brahma, because it seems that it is validated here, because the iconography of Bhuvaneshwari is what Mahavishnu first saw, because she is with Ankusham, Pasha Ankusham, and Abhaya Varada Mudra, because that is the original iconography of Bhuvaneshwari. And since the entire experience that they just had about the Prapancham, going to the multiple lokas and coming, and ultimately coming here, Vishnu has declared, okay, boss, for the entire thing that we saw, that we have absolutely realized that we are not the ones who are the in charge here. So this madam is the in charge here. So definitely she is the Bhuvana Ishwari, because for all the Bhuvanams, she is the Ishwari. So therefore she is Bhuvaneshwari. So like that, Mahavishnu, Shiva, Rudra, and Brahma have accepted, and they are walking further into the lokam, actually. And there they saw something very amazing thing, actually. They saw that the birds were, you know, they were they were chirping, but they were chirping the Bhuvaneshwari Prapancha Bijakshara, the Bhuvaneshwari Bijakshara. The entire birds, they were not chirping like normal birds that they are there in our material world, but they were doing the mantram, it seems. And where that mantram is coming from, that is coming from the Roma Kesham of Bhuvaneshwari itself, it seems. It is emanating from her. Therefore, it is chirped by the birds around, it seems. They could feel, we say, right, actually, I can feel that energy from this person, we use these words, right? So that is similar to that context, actually. So that Bhuvaneshwari Bijam, that Bhuvaneshwari Bijam is coming from where? Bhuvaneshwari herself, and that is being chirped by the birds. So that is so amazing to the Trinities as they are walking deep inside the Bhavan, actually. Which Bhavan? The Mani Dvipam. And as they are moving further, they can see the fact that how, because as they are moving further, they could see the beauty actually. it is it is how she is, she is koti surya prakashini. Actually, there's like 1,000 sun coming together. That kind of a visibility is there. It seems they are not even able to see. They are just keeping their eyes, they're just covering their eyes. It seems like that kind of a prakasham, but within that prakasham, that beauty is merging actually. And when they are seeing so closely, what they were seeing is that, just like Bhuvaneshwari. See, this is the idea. This was one of the questions that student have asked actually, is Bhuvaneshwari is equal to Akhilandeshwari? Because in Tamil Nadu, we have a temple where we have Akhilandeshwari. And the tradition of Akhilandeshwari is that because in the other temples, the Sri Chakram is either done Pratishtha in the front of the Devi in form of a Meru, Ardha Meru, or a Yantra. But in Akhilandeshwari, she will be wearing as Tatankas. Tatankas means as her earring she'll be wearing. And this, it is witnessed in the Bhagavatam itself, and the interpretation is coming in. As they are going further, they can see that her both the earrings are nothing but the Shri chakras that she's wearing actually. So Bhuvaneshwari and Akhilandeshwari, both one and the same. Akhila Ishwari, Bhuvana iti Ishwari. And they are seeing that she is surrounded by very powerful women like Hrilleka, Ananga Kusuma, and other devis who are just standing to receive her instruction to fulfill them actually. All the devatas, in other words, all the Anga devatas, all the Upanga devatas who are there with Devi, all the important primordial yoginis, the 7 yoginis, the 16 yoginis, the 64 yoginis, and the 64 crore yoginis are surrounding her and standing, it seems actually. Rilleka, and these are the two names, Ananga Kusuma Ityadi, because after that, all their clans actually. And completely transfixed in her beauty, completely not knowing, how to even, discuss about this further, or how to even appreciate, or how to even conceptualize. The trinities are moving further, and they have come to a place where they are about to enter, and there again Narayana is speaking. It seems that, who is this? She's Devi Bhagavati. Like that, he's saying to Rudra and Brahma, it seems. She is Devi Bhagavati. She is Moola Prakriti. Now they are further expanding it. She is Moola Prakriti. How she is Moola Prakriti? Because she is Sat Chit Ananda Swarupini. Sat Chit Ananda Swarupini. Declared by the Trinities. She is such Chit Anand Swarupini. Mahavishnu is further telling his own personal story in a very short form here, saying to Brahma and Shiva, see, when I was born, I was floating on a banyan leaf, on that Ekar Nava. I was so afraid, not knowing what to do. She is the one who came and safeguarded me. Now, looking at her, I can realize. So, therefore, she is the mother of all three of us. Because in that Ekarnava, she is the one who protected me because I was just floating on a banyan leaf. Before even Kalpa began, what she did, she sang softly to me. She sang softly to me, just like a mother. And you know what was that song? It was the song of the universe. She taught me the song of the universe. Let us approach our mother. She wanted us here, and therefore we are here. And now the absolute miracle is going to happen, students. They have come to the main gate of Manidvipam, and they are going to enter. You know what happened? They three, as the moment they were supposed to enter, they three became three different female forms actually. They were no more Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva in the male forms. They transformed into feminine forms. In other words, they became their Shaktis before they entered Manidvipa. They were no longer gendered men, actually. They were so surprised to see themselves, it seems, and each other were saying to each other, "Oh, you look so beautiful now. You turned out to be so beautiful." You remember the Sri Vidya theory? It said like the closer you go to Devi, you cannot approach her with that masculine identity, actually. That feminine identity is very important. Here they are going Pratyaksha Bhagavati. So they got completely transformed into that gendered difference itself should be not there. So they got completely transformed actually. So they were transformed into their own Shaktis, and they three went and did namaskaram unto her feet because they entered, and the first thing they do is namaskaram. And Narada is saying to Vyasa, it seems, that the three were shocked to see because in her crimson toenail, they saw the entire universe. In that toenail, they could see like a picture, like a television. All the three could see the entire universe, it seems. And of course, and after doing the namaskaram and getting up, she is Stotra Priya, Shtutimati, Stuti Samsada Vaibhava. They three do Stotram actually. And that Stotrams are what we have in our Devi Mahatmya. We have Brahma Stuti, Vishnu Stuti, and Shiva Stuti. You will all have learned and you'll be learning further. So they are doing Stotrakaram, Jai Jayakaram, you know, and they are now requesting Bhavani, you know now that we have understood we are here because of your grace, your kataksham, and your will. And we have realized that we are not the supremes, and we are the ones who are controlled by the supreme Shakti, which is you. And we, very interesting point, we have done whatever we could do because of the Shakti that derived from you. And now that Shakti came from the Mula mantra that we received from you. And since the Kalpa got over, we have forgotten requesting you to give the mantra again to us. They are asking mantra diksha from Bhagavati herself. And Bhagavati graces the mantra Shakti to them. Bhagavati initiates them. From her own lips, she will initiate the mantra. Her own mantra, she is giving her own Bija Shakti. She gives because they have to do Shrishti Sthiti Samharam, because the world understands that they are the ones who are doing, because the department is created by her. So she gives the Bija Shakti to them to do the activity. And further, she's very compassionate. She says that you three cannot do it alone. So therefore, I give my primary Shaktis again transformed into another a part for you, your better halves. So from her own Shakti, she creates Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Uma and gives to the respective devatas. And now Devi says, now both of you as couples and all of you together as a team, you can function the entire cosmos. And by the time Devi said this entire thing that happened just vanishes in some microseconds. And all the three of them who became six came back to the same place where it all began in Ekarnavam. And from Ekarnavam, they start the process of the creation. And this is what Vyasa explained to King Janamejaya, saying that this is the greatness of Bhagavati. This is hers. This is why you were asked to worship her. And this was narrated by Narada to Vyasa, and Vyasa in turn narrated to Janamejaya, and it was listened by Sūta and documented, and it came to us today. Now you realize what is supreme and how this supreme functions and how it is taken forward. Welcome to Durga Vijayam. Moving forward, in the next class, I'll be talking about the context of how this Bhagavatam came into existence and which period of time it was narrated and what is the context and how it is moving forward. Thank you so much. Namaskaram. Let's end the class with Mangalam. Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trayambhake Gauri Narayani Namostute Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shiva Datri Swaha Swada Namostute. Om Shanti 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 Sarvam Shri Chandi Mahalakshmi Arpanamastu Tathastu. Thank you so much. Namaskaram. See you in the next class. I hope you will look forward for Durga Vijayam further.
Namaskar, Guruji.
Thank you so much, Guruji. Thank you.
Namaskaram, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Guruji.
Definitely,
Thank you.
Guruji. Definitely. We look forward to hear more from you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Thank you so much, Guruji.